Welcome to the Ultimate Dental Podcast, the place where you can learn how to create a dental practice and a business life that you love. Listen in with Dr. David Moffat as he interviews successful entrepreneurs and successful business people and successful dentists as they share their business successes, their stories, and their breakthrough ideas, sharing pearls of wisdom that you can take back to your practice and implement immediately so that you can have that great practice with more patients, higher profits, and less stress. This is the podcast where great dental practices meet with successful business processes. Thanks for tuning in to the Ultimate Dental Podcast, the podcast where thought leaders, industry experts, and thriving practice owners reveal their very best tips, tools, and strategies that will help you grow your dental practice faster. Now, here's your host, Dr. David Moffat.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Ultimate Dental Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. David Moffat. It is just gone after 10 o'clock in the morning here, Wednesday morning in Burrowang, New South Wales in Australia. It gives me great pleasure to talk to a good friend of mine who I haven't seen face-to-face for a while because of COVID travel restrictions, but I've known for about 11 or 12 years. Rita Zamora in Boulder, Colorado. Rita, what time is it there in Boulder?
It is evening time, about a little after 5 p.m.
Oh, lovely. That's still daylight. Yeah, nice to talk to you, Rita, and thanks for joining me on the Ultimate Dental Podcast. Really good to catch up. Now, Rita, when we first met, you were the social media guru in the world of dentistry. You know, social media was just kicking off. Facebook, Twitter were still in their infancies back in the early, not even the teens. I think we were in 2011, 2012. And so you were the go-to person for dental people to help build their social media presence. Fast forward to today, and now we have AI being a big change in how things are being done. How has that affected what you do for dental practices?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really great to be here visiting with you and catching up. And yes, it's a great time for us to catch up because there's so many things changing right now with AI and everything, as you know, clinically and in the admin section of the office, and also with marketing and social media. And so I want to share with your listeners about how AI is impacting the way that dentists are going to be found. And it's not just setting up an online presence for patients to discover you, but now we also have to think about AI and how it's evaluating you and your online presence in order to recommend you to patients.
Wow. Now, that's a whole new concept for, I guess, a lot of older dentists to grasp is what is AI actually providing as a service generally, and then how is that affecting how it provides that service for patients, and how does that provide that service for dental practices trying to grow by finding more patients. So what's happening today in AI and dentistry, Rita?
So what's been happening traditionally is that everyone has gone to Google for the past, decades, and done their homework there. So they're researching for a dentist near me, and they would get the Google results, and those lucky few dentists, that would show up near the top of a Google search would win. They would get the eyeballs of the patients who are searching for them and get website traffic, and patients would kind of move on from there down their research path to become a new patient. And what's changing now is, even though the majority of searches are still occurring on Google with traditional search, so if you're winning in that category, you want to continue what you're doing. But we've also now got this introduction of ChatGPT, we've got Perplexity, we've got Grok, and all of these other AI that answering that question for patients. So patients are asking AI, who's the best gentle dentist near me? Or who's the best dentist who offers dental implants or clear aligners near me? And so now the whole landscape has changed, which I'm very excited about because it was very frustrating, the whole SEO game for dentists. It could be very expensive, and it was only those lucky few practices that would show up at the top of Google search, or people who paid for Google AdWords. And now we're sort of seeing a potential leveling of the playing field with AI, doing a lot more research in finding out who's going to be the best dentist to recommend for these patients.
So how does that work? Because obviously prior to AI, it was basically who spent the most in terms of AdWords and clicks, who lasted the longest each day before it reset. What's AI done to make it a more level playing field for dental practices?
Yes, well, right now, trust is the new currency. And we're seeing that only about 5% of search traffic is going to these AI platforms like ChatGPT. However, there are predictions that have been made. Gardner is a great statistic to look at, and they said they predict that by 2026, 2027, that's going to be 20% of the overall search. And if that happens, that's going to be very significant, of course. And so we want to start paying attention now to our online presence. The win is that it's not only going to help you to be discovered by AI so that AI can recommend your practice, but it's also just going to help you overall, even if things didn't change with your online presence. And so we've got to look at a few different components, and I'll go over those different components with our listeners today to break it down so that they can make it very easy to sort of follow a checklist on what they need to be doing.
Yeah, I guess the scary thing is for dentists and all business owners is who can I trust that's going to give me the best result and not just use buzzwords. And I suppose if they've dealt in the SEO arena before, then they've probably wondered, you take clicks down to the grocery store to buy groceries. You've got to take dollars. So clicks sometimes don't,
yes.
and views don't convert into dollars. So how do we know who to trust, and what are those things that we need to look for in the AI world of October 2025?
Yeah, for sure. And we can definitely talk about ROI and how you know what's working today. But let's start off by talking about what dentists need to be looking out for. The good news is that there's not really mystery involved with the way that we need to set things up in order to be discovered by AI. And that's what I'm very excited about. I think it's just a welcome relief and just really exciting what's happening right now. And so we're going to start off with one of the most important signals that AI is looking at when it comes to your online presence, and that's your online reviews. And as you know, that's been a really important aspect of our online presence already. It's a huge decision-making factor that patients look at. It's almost 90% of patients that are looking at online reviews that are using that to determine if this is going to be a good practice for them or not. So the good news is that your online reviews have been helping you already, and they're only going to help you more when AI is evaluating you.
Right. So the principles of asking for reviews and making sure that people leave you reviews, they haven't changed.
They haven't changed. They've gotten a little bit more sophisticated. So some things that you can look at and pay attention to are what is the content of your reviews. You want to make sure that your reviews are current. And so if you haven't received reviews in a long time, you need to make sure that you're keeping that consistent, but also think about the content of your reviews. So if you typically get 5-star reviews without any comments, you want to start asking your patients if they've had clear aligners or dental implants or any type of treatment that you want to be known for, if they'd be comfortable mentioning the type of treatment that they've had. And most of our patients have become pretty savvy, and they know how heavy that weight is that reviews carry, how valuable that is. And so asking your patients, if you've had a great experience with us and you'd be willing to leave a review, that would really help us out. You can, come up with the verbiage on how you want to say that. But if a patient says not only 5-star great experience, but 5-star great experience with my clear aligner treatment or with my implants or what have you, that's going to be so valuable, not only for patients, but also for AI, because it'll be able to see these trends. And when patients ask for the best implant dentist or clear aligner dentist or what have you, that's going to give the AI more evidence to be able to recommend you.
Oh, wow. That is a big change then to what we've been used to before AI, where the researcher, being the prospective patient, has to do their own research. Now AI is doing that research for them and presenting that information there for them.
Yes, for sure. And so we want to make it easy for, patients, of course, and also AI to discover us and to determine that we are a great, valid recommendation to make. And so online reviews are incredibly important. Going down the list, you of course want to have a good website. Make sure that your website is optimized, that you are AI friendly. I think you had a conversation with my friend Jeff Gladnick recently with Great Dental Websites, and he, I'm sure, covered all of those tips with you. So you want to make sure that you listen to that podcast if you haven't already. So he can cover all things AI regarding websites. And I don't want to forget to mention, I have a resource for your listeners. It's actually through the Great Dental Websites website. And so I'll provide that link for you, David, for your listeners. We have downloads there with AI checklists to help you to get discovered and maximize your visibility with that. So that's a free resource that we'll provide. So we talked about online reviews, your website. You really want to just make sure that all of your online properties have updated information with your city, what area are you located in, any specialty things that you want to be recognized for, or I shouldn't say necessarily specialty, but what do you want to be known for, that you have keywords in your bio, and that your address, phone number, everything's updated and current, because any gaps in all of that online content creates, a mystery or some incongruence there when the AI is evaluating you. So you'll see that this isn't really mysterious. It's sort of just confirming that everything is looking good for you with regard to your online reputation, not only for patients, but this is also for AI too.
Now, I think you mentioned to me previously that AI is now identifying not favorably if you're using stock photos. So that's a no-no now. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. That's really a big one, because when you think about it, the AI technology has gotten so good, as you've seen, I'm sure, examples of, that it's hard for us to sometimes tell what's real and what's not. And the AI can very easily detect stock photos. It doesn't like them. It doesn't provide valuable information. So if there's a decision between a dentist, Dr. A and Dr. B, and everything else is equal, but one dentist, Dr. A, has a robust social media presence with photos and video snippets, and Dr. B does not have any real information on their social media, if they've been using stock photos or simply have nothing on their social media, the AI is going to trust that social media content that's real and recommend that dentist over the dentist who doesn't have enough information to determine, if it's a real practice or if they are still open and if it's legitimate. So it's really important in this age of AI that you're showing up as a real human.
So you should too. I once read that you wouldn't walk around with a stock photo on a T-shirt. You would have something that was real on the T-shirt. So why would you put it on your marketing? It's just wrong. Now, Rita, one of the things that when AI came out, there was a lag in terms of where they were up to, in terms of where they were sourcing their data from. That lag is now virtually non-existent. Is that correct? That AI is very, very current. There's not a delay in terms of new information that it has missed out on because it hasn't caught up. Is that correct?
It depends on the AI. For example, like Grok, who is owned by formerly Twitter, now X, Elon Musk, they're sourcing their information a little bit differently, and they're actually able to pull information directly from X. So they've got a lot of social media content there. ChatGPT owned, by OpenAI. They source their content a little bit differently. I think they're working on getting it to be more current, but some of it does have some lag time. However, what we are going to start seeing, of course, as time moves on, is that now more and more of your social media content is being indexed by Google. And that is a new change as of July of 2025. So when you're using Gemini, for example, which is Google's AI tool, which is of course going to be one of the leaders here as well, they can index that content immediately and source from it. And so that again is one more reason why you want to have your social media content from Facebook and Instagram. As long as it's public, it's also going to show up on Google and help you with your visibility.
How does that go in terms of truth, though? Because you and I both know that sometimes things can travel like a bushfire through social media, but they aren't actually true. And I've been caught by thinking, oh, so-and-so died, a celebrity has died, and then it's not current. They died several years ago, and just thinking because it appeared on social media and other people have reposted it, that I'd forgotten about it. So how do we go trusting social media as a source of, what's right and what's wrong, of knowledge, as opposed to just being a source of gossip?
Yeah, we want to make sure it's, not fake news, if you will. And the nice thing about a dentist, a local dentist or a local business is they're going to have more than one piece of information out there. And that's a part of what we're looking at, is creating this online reputation for your practice with a lot of information from different platforms. So it's your online reviews, it's your website, it's your social media platforms, it's information from a number of different places to determine that you are a legitimate business that's currently open, that has happy team members, hopefully patient testimonials, things like that. When we talk about other, rumors or fake news and things like that, it is unique with X, formerly Twitter, that you can ask Grok, it's AI, if this is fake, if it's real, if it's valid, and it's able to do that research and let you know. I wish every social media platform would do that, but yeah, that's pretty unique for X right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you use it still, but
I don't understand it from when it first came out. I have no idea how it works. So I use it sometimes to read information, but I have no idea how to post on X, formerly Twitter. It's beyond me. But I do know people who have posted and then have left it because of the trolling that happens to them as a result of sticking their head up, and all of a sudden people are looking for wood, so they bang them about their comments. So it is a difficult medium to work in, that's for sure. What are you finding with X?
I wouldn't recommend it for a dentist to post content. I think it's a great place for someone if you're a politician or if you're a news broadcaster or something like that. But the top platforms that I do recommend for dentists are, of course, Facebook, Instagram. You can also post content to your Google business profile. So where your Google map and reviews live, you also have the opportunity to post updates, and you absolutely want to do that. Obviously, because it's Google, and that's still where the lion's share of content is being shared and viewed. And so that gives you more opportunity to be discovered. And then more and more of our teams, we noticed, are creating LinkedIn company profiles, not necessarily to attract new patients, but to attract local talent that are looking for jobs within the dental industry. And so it's just one more place to have breadcrumbs that are spread.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you don't think people are looking for dentists by going to LinkedIn?
Not necessarily. I think you might be discovered there, and who knows, but I wouldn't say it's going to be a big channel for you. I think the bigger platforms that are going to be much more predictable, where you have a chance of being discovered or searched for, are Facebook and Instagram.
All right.
And
TikTok?
possibly TikTok. The reason I haven't really invested a whole lot of time and research in it over the years is because it's very unpredictable. We still right now it's been biding its time to get a US owner in place, because technically it could be banned if it doesn't have a US owner. And so we're waiting to see that transaction go through and whether or not China is willing to sell its algorithm, or if there's going to be a new algorithm for TikTok. And so there's a lot of what ifs there.
I've heard recently that TikTok as a recording medium is quite good in terms of doing multiple small bites and then segmenting it. Is that correct?
It is, but Instagram actually has given them a run for their money. While there's been a lot of turbulence going on with the whole TikTok ownership thing, Instagram has released their own editing tool that's called Edits, EDITS. It's very easy to use. It's great for dentists because they actually have easy ways for you to film content, and it's just very easy for you to edit videos there. So I would encourage dentists, if they're not already, they can be video snippets as short as 15 seconds, where you're not even talking, just filmed in your office. And you can add music to it and create reels, and those are very popular. Instagram loves when you share that content because video is one of the most popular forms of content that you can share. So the algorithms love it, and it's just a super way for you to get the word out about your practice.
Yeah, I like the way that in the social media world, if somebody's got something new, it's copied very quickly by one of the other platforms as well. And I know that I think a year ago, we were hearing that maybe Google was falling behind with ChatGPT coming into the forum. But now you've mentioned that Google through Gemini has picked up the ball and started running with it again. So it's not the end of Google as a search medium yet.
Yeah, yet, but I think they do have a lot to be worried about, because people are utilizing ChatGPT AI more and more every day, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger part of their lives, myself included. And the more that you use the tool and become comfortable with it, why are you going to hop out of that, platform or that tool and use Google when you can just ask your AI assistant that's becoming a bigger part of our lives that question and ask it for assistance? I mean, in the future, I see you having that ability to ask ChatGPT who you should see for a dentist or a specialist, or which restaurant you should go to, or where you should go to get your hair cut. And it will be able to go through that process to actually schedule your appointments for you and take care of all of that busy work that's involved. And this is why I've been encouraging dentists to move forward with online scheduling, because if you don't have that in place, of course, you're not going to be able to connect the dots, and AI can't say, can I schedule your appointment for you, if you don't already have that available on your website.
No, very, very important, because that's what we're hearing with AI answering the phones, and the conversations going on there is that question, would you like me to go ahead and schedule? And so they're doing all the right prompts. Do you prefer mornings or afternoons? I've got this or that, 2 choice closes. That's easy to program. But you're right, if you haven't got the online appointment scheduling, then people are disappointed that they're not getting a result. And even as I learned from a real estate agent 30 years ago, he said, easy to change an appointment that's been made incorrectly than to create a new appointment that hasn't been made, because he booked somebody to come and inspect our home at 9 in the morning. And I said, we have 2 infants. That's arsenic hour. You don't bring your home is not ready for showing at 9 in the morning. He said, easy to change. So again, that whole thing of, will people use it? If you don't have it, they certainly won't use it. So very, very important to be on top of that. The other thing, of course, which I guess a lot of dentists may not be aware, is that it's very hard to leave a chat GPT conversation, because chat GPT just keeps asking you if you would like them to do a specific thing. And often my response is, yeah, why not? Yes, let's do it. That's just an hour later, I've got a much bigger agenda out of it than what I thought I was doing. Whereas if you go to Google, you've got to come up with the next prompt yourself. So that prompt engineer role is very, very important in using AI, and helps you to get the answers that sometimes, we've all had it. I wish I'd have thought of that question. Well, AI is thinking of those questions in advance for you. How does it do that?
Yeah. It's like we don't know what we don't know. It's very good at predicting what it is that we need and anticipating our next step, our next need. So it's pretty amazing. I think, once we develop a kind of a relationship with that platform like ChatGPT, you just want to go ahead and stay there for everything. And this is what I think everyone is banking on for future search for dentists is, why are you going to leave and go somewhere else when you can just ask your AI assistant for recommendations? And so now is the time to start looking at what are those pieces that you need to have in place in order to get recommended by AI. For a lot of dentists, it's they really need help with their social media, and that's what we excel in and where we're here to help.
Yeah, I guess if you haven't got those pieces as your backup, to finish the puzzle, then there's really pointless actually trying to do it yourself. And it's the same old story, isn't it? There are some things that you can pay somebody to do much quicker than you can do it yourself, and better. So why not do that? Even if you're just buying leisure time for yourself as opposed to working it out. It's some people don't like putting IKEA together because it takes too long and it's frustrating, and there's no instructions, only pictures.
Yes.
Why not do that with social media, and with it being so necessary in capitalizing on the AI wave that is not going away?
Yes, exactly. We've got it down to a science now. We've made it very easy for our dentists. They just send us their photos and video snippets, and we take care of everything for them. So as long as they're willing to provide, generally about 8 photos or video snippets every month, we tell them, here's exactly what the photo needs to look like, or here's exactly what that 15-second clip should look like. So it's very easy to make a quick video scan of it. And then we take it and run with it and make copies for those most important social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, your Google business profile. And if you have a LinkedIn company page, we can include that. And then we make sure that the content is consistent and that it's going to help with building your practice. So we include topics like reminding patients when their insurance benefits are expiring, just letting them know that you're accepting new patients, reminding them if you do offer request an appointment or scheduling appointments online, and then even including just some fun social topics like, fun facts about your team, things like that. So we make it easy by including this strategic recipe, if you will, of various content. And if the dentist wants to do more of a specific type of procedure, then we would include more content about that, whether it's clear aligners or dental implants or what have you.
I think having been a dentist for a long time, a lot of dentists are I guess, concerned that they aren't photogenic enough, or they can't dance. So masks are a good thing in dentistry because they don't have to show their face, as the old Oral-B toothpaste ad used to be down in Australia. They weren't allowed to show their face on television. But now social media is about that. So what do you say to the dentist who is shy in front of a camera? How do they overcome themselves? Because this is how the public wants to judge their dentist. Are they a real person? Can I identify with this person before I actually go to their practice and meet them? How does a dentist get camera worthy?
Yeah, I think for a lot of dentists, when we show them examples of what we're looking for, it helps them to feel more comfortable, because we hear that a lot. We hear from office managers or the doctor who'll say, I can't get my team to show up in photos. They don't want to be in photos, or they don't want to be in videos. But then when we show them examples of what we're looking for, they're like, oh, that's okay. We can do that. Sometimes it might be a 7-second clip of the doctor who's just putting their white coat on and their loops over their head, their eye loops, and so it doesn't have to be anything where you're on camera and explaining the entire details of an implant surgery. It just has to be a very little clip or specific photos that look more candid in nature. So I think once we show the dentist or teams examples of what it can look like and how they can capture these photos themselves very easily, they start to feel more comfortable with it. And or they might schedule to have a photographer that comes into their office. They'll have a day where they schedule to have the whole team camera ready and just take a batch of photos. Some of our dentists only take photos every 2 years, but they give us enough photos during that photo shoot that we can spread them out into a variety of different posts. We can crop them and pull out different images and just get really creative with it for a couple of years. But we really don't have a choice, because it's not only patients that need to see that content, but also AI wants to know that you're a real practice, and they need to see who the doctor is, who the team is, what the inside of your practice looks like, or you're going to be invisible, basically.
Yeah, you raise a really good point, because prior to AI, when I was looking at dental practice websites and how dentists were presenting themselves, it was a real turn-off for me to think, where's the team? There is no mention of the team. There has to be a team there somewhere. Why aren't they being given some form of prominence? Because who greets the patient when they come in the door? Who schedules the appointments for the patient and does the transaction and wishes them well? The dentist really is
right.
just there to treat and not hurt the patient, but the team does so much more in the customer service role. And so why not have them prominent on the website? Now you're saying that this is what AI is looking for. Are you a real person? Are your team members real? And in fact, prior to AI, people would go to the About the Team page first to find out that so-and-so likes taking their grandchildren to the movies on the weekend, and such a person
right.
is a mud wrestler. All these sorts of things. You're that person. You're the one with the dog. I've seen your pictures. Really, really important for AI, even more than it was pre-AI, I guess.
Yes, for sure. And the best news about that is, of course, that it's a win with your patients too. That's how our relationships are established and grown, through those, like you said, someone that has their kids are both on the same sports team, or that you share your love of dogs or what have you. And so that's what I think is really most exciting for me, because I've always been really focused on the relationships that we grow within dentistry. That's really my background. That's where I got my start, doing treatment coordination for big perio and implant cases. So I remember talking to patients about these big, they were expensive surgeries. It required a big investment, and it was a scary surgery for a lot of patients. So we really had to focus on growing that trust and relationships with patients. So I really am very excited about the future of marketing for dentistry, because I feel like it's going to allow dentists to really just focus more on the team and your relationships with your patients as we're leveraging technology in this more authentic way.
So it's a double-edged sword, really, AI. You're going to need to present yourself as being more human, but you've got to back that up, because the disappointment and the disconnect for prospective patients is they turn up or they ring up and they're not getting the same message that they thought they were going to receive when they've done their research. It's important that you've got to be able to walk the walk as well as talk the talk, even more now that we have AI.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, very, very important. Oh, it's exciting, Rita. It must be exciting for you, because it's a whole new world out there, and it's a big world. It's not just a little window, it's not a little passage. It's a big adventure. AI is really helping dentists, and I can see just from talking with you that there is so much more opportunity being employed in a dental office because the AI is just going to bring the people who then want the human connection as a result of what they've seen and researched from the AI doing that research for them. Dentistry, this is going to break down that fear factor for a lot of people who see dentists as the old school torture chamber, which it now is not. Very, very important.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and I hope that it also helps to attract, quality people that want to make dentistry their career long term, because I feel like I really kind of grew up in dentistry in different roles in the practice and never left. And it's a wonderful profession. It's a great quality of life, and you get to establish these amazing relationships, find your best friend at work, or some people find partners, I guess, It's just a wonderful profession. So I think it's very exciting what's happening right now on a bunch of fronts, to attract new patients, to get that AI to discover you and recommend you, and then to even attract local talent for your future team members.
Yeah, no, it is an exciting time. Rita, you mentioned the services that you provide in terms of social media backup for the AI. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
They can visit our website, Connect90, and it's the word connect90.com, and set up an appointment with me. We can have a tour of our social media program. Like to offer your listeners a complimentary, no obligation 30-day trial of our social media program. So if they are interested in getting a system in place and making the most of their social media, I'd like to offer them that complimentary, no obligation trial. We don't take a credit card. We get your team set up. It's very easy to use. If you know how to use an Apple product, you'll be able to use our program, and we'd love to have your listeners as guests for our program. We have guests, of course, from Australia as well as US, worked with clients in the UK, so we've got you. Even though there's nuances in our spelling of different words and things like that, we've got the culture and the communication down.
There's a lot more Z in the American language or Z's than there are in the Australian and English language. You also mentioned that you have a promotion with Great Dental as well?
Yes, Great Dental websites and I have referred clients to one another for over a decade. I love working with Jeff and his team because, as you know, he's got that special loyalty to dentists, with many of his family members being dentists. But we have recently got together and put a bunch of AI resources together. They're downloads. They're free, and I will provide that link for you so that your listeners can go and visit there to see what they need to know about AI for their website, their online presence, social media, and get access to all of those resources for free.
Oh, that's wonderful, Rita. Well, Rita, thanks very much for your time this afternoon, your time. It's been great chatting with you. Like I said, it's been a while since we've seen each other face to face, and I look forward to hopefully traveling to the US sometime next year. And catching up. Really appreciate your time, and thanks for being a guest on the Ultimate Dental Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of the Ultimate Dental Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of our dental community and joining us each week on this incredible journey. If you found value in today's episode and you don't want to miss out on future episodes packed with expert insights and actionable strategies, here's how you can stay connected with us. Firstly, hit that subscribe button. Whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform or watching on our website, subscribing ensures you'll never miss an episode. Secondly, share the love. If you know a fellow dentist or colleague who could benefit from the wisdom and knowledge that we share here, please share our podcast with them. Also, please share the podcast on your socials by simply clicking on the social icons wherever you view or listen to this podcast. Together, we can all do our bit to elevate the dental profession. And finally, stay engaged with us. We love hearing from you. Your questions, comments, and feedback fuel our mission to provide the best content for your professional growth, your personal growth, and for your practice growth. Remember, your journey to creating a dental practice and a business life that you love is our mission, and we're excited to be your trusted guide along the way. Thank you for being a part of the Ultimate Dental Podcast. Until next time, keep smiling, Keep striving and keep on tuning in to the Ultimate Dental Podcast.